Alright, y'all, what I'm going to show you is this is DASYlab 2016 Lite, and we've got a testing system. I'm going to start running it so you can kind of see what it does. So I only give a crap about milliamps being 3 decimal places milli, and this is really annoying because all this crap back here is coming out to just absolutely pretty much screw up my conversions. It's very, very annoying. I would imagine if I could use this as a digital device, since this is a Lite version, you can see we really don't have too much in the way of being able to deal with digital data too much because we don't have FFT and all that shit. Excuse my French, it's going to keep happening because I don't care about words like that. But anyways, these, nothing's moving right now. You can see no meter or no liters per second flowing. The pressure transducer is different. Hopefully when this is all redone, being on the table will have less of an issue with these potentials causing that small sort of milliamp excitation. Now this also actually has adjustments that work too. That's the the nice part about that. So I could dial that in if I really want to. Let me give you a simple overlay instead first. My goodness gracious, need that new iPhone. So that's the idea. This is the cover plate of that. I'll hold that up when I show the wires though, so you can kind of see the plus minus. The idea being that, red is of course the plus, black negative. This document to make it read easier, and then our loop circuits are going to be those dotted blue lines. So you can see essentially how that's supposed to work. Now being that this is a 420 milliamp loop circuit device, that means you have a low and a high. 0. Oh, you know what? That's probably what it is. I just might have an idea, so I might try this. But I have 0 programmed into this right now, which if you look at the specs, that's the way it came from the factory. Alright, trying to focus on specs for some reason. But yeah, that's the rates that it says from the factory. So maybe that and my totalizer is actually what's messed up. Because right now it's 0 to like the max flow. But regardless, the annoying part about that is that, there's this... Oh my goodness, this phone is being a just problem child today. You can see there's analog output that you can activate, right? And because there's digital up here, but you can see that it's got, where you can enter in the flow at 4, and then you can enter in the flow at 20. Complete arbitrary as to whether, oh, do those match up with the units that you said over here? Idiots who make manuals, I tell you. But FLOMEC, please do better. Please do better. You guys make a $1,300 manual, and it should be push button to set this up. Like, a loop circuit isn't a big deal. My adjustments in here didn't do anything to change the rate that the meter shows. That might make sense in the terms of this being the absolute sort of doctrine that you always go back to. But when I change it, it also doesn't change it on my my computer software here. So that's the annoying part. That's the insanely annoying part. And the other annoying part is that my unit conversions are just getting... I hate unit conversions first and foremost. I want to do... If you look in here, they have a unit convert. And I don't know if it's because it's light or what, but I mean, that's not all the things of pressure. So the people who set this up are just completely just brain dead, it would appear. Because if I were to go and do this for flow, if I add a channel over here, I can't do it right now, but basically for flow, you don't get... I can't use, for example, the base unit that I'm using here and then nicely convert it. I can't nicely convert it so that it just uses another SI unit from here. And that's the craziest part, is like it's not even programmed to like SI or Imperial standard units. So I hope it's not the Lite software's fault, but the idea is here, after you see my circuit map, right? So that's how everything looks. Those are your plus and minuses for those channels if my phone wants to work ever. Steve Jobs, you really want me to get that new iPhone, don't you? So the only thing I'm maybe skeptical about is that I've got loop powers in the same twisted cable, because this is not permanent. This is I'm just literally trying to qualify this thing, and it's being a complete nightmare. So I'm wondering, this could be perhaps one of the things. I'm an ME. I don't really know all the ins and outs of electricity, but I do know that noise is an issue with sensing devices of these small currents, because as you can see, we're at only outputting like 0.6 amperes here. So I'm thinking this could be an issue, but everything else, these are all the suggested FLOMEC cables, and so they're all shielded, grounded, which you don't need, because they were actually literally talking about wiring it up in here. This camera is such a piece of crap today. So doesn't matter, and they don't even wire it up like that in here. So I basically fact-checked them on the fact that their manual is just outdated first and foremost. And then now I'm still wondering why the things they said this meter is going to do for us, it's not doing. Basically, you got to enter into program mode here. There's a bunch of things you can go through. The idea is I kind of want to show you guys where, I've got max precision on decimals here. The factory has actually calibrated the pulses for the read switch beyond what the standard nominal values are over here. So then we get into, this is linearity correction. I don't have that on. I have my digital outputs off. I do have my analog outputs, however, sending stuff out. So maybe this is where now I'm going to set this to 1 based on the specs that are in there, and maybe that might bump up essentially my 4 milliamp step to where my liters per minute are gonna, because that's the annoying part right now. My liters per minute don't match up to the freaking calibration curve that you would follow. Oh man, we're gonna make it, just cancel it. Oh, alright, I'll probably just, yep. Great. Anyways, my liters per minute didn't match based on the, if you have a freaking, that's more or less the math that I did. So getting your B-intercept, and then, I checked this, where is it? Yeah, so 40 liters per minute, or whatever unit, because I was in liters per minute when I was doing this, so whatever unit to the full milliamp scale. But I realized I probably screwed up with it not being 1. I used 0 instead of 1, so that could be it. But more so, I'm concerned with the aspect of the, let me reopen that. Very weak software here. Here's the Lite version. But the main issue that I'm more so annoyed at right now is this freaking amp stuff is just acting like a complete twat with how it... Oh my god, that's right. You were writing. Now I gotta take... I'm just gonna try to avoid this. This is my 3rd attempt at this video. But we've got... Dude, never buy an Intel NUC. These things they're not good. Of course, this is an i5. I don't believe you should ever buy anything but an i7. Alright, so I'll get these back to where they're not, like, very, very small. Oh my god, I didn't save either, so you guys won't be able to... I'm sorry, I've got to take you guys through all this stupid shit. Well, now my resolution isn't there because apparently I never pressed Control S, and apparently if you enter into a module instead of just pressing OK or cancel and you press exit, don't do that in DASYlab Lite while you're running. 35 years of computers, stuff still happens. But outside of here, I can't actually control. I can't control in here. I cannot control anything. All I can do is scaling. And this isn't even the scaling that I've got to redo so much work now, but there's a bunch of crap you can't control in terms of decimal trim off. It's hysterical. Part of being able to control your data should be being able to truncate the amount of data points that go out to the next module, and I can't do that. So I'm sitting here dealing with these ridiculous amounts of milliamps that end up screwing over my conversions. Now I've got it to where if this is reading, like say 0.25, it was reading 0.240 last time. I got this to where it was reading 0.256. This has, once it starts getting hot, it does start having resolution issues outside of full scale. Standard is 0.05% of full scale. The hot, and the funny part is we're doing like real hot fluid through here, engine oil. And this is a high temp unit, but they still even say in here 80 degrees. So hopefully our data is, I'm hoping that's not what's going to screw everything up, especially since the rep that set us up at Cross Instruments or Instrumentation literally knew that we were going up to 200, Celsius. Excuse me, we're going up to 200, I'm thinking Fahrenheit right now. It's 115 Celsius is the highest we go up because we want to get somewhat close for real car parts and whatnot. But yeah, it's crazy. This meter that they sold us literally does nothing. So good job, salespeople. And if anybody has any sort of experience with these meters and how to get them to read out, because I don't think anybody at the instrumentation company or FLOMEC knows what they're doing. Once again, you always know more than the people selling you stuff. That Ron Swanson, I know more than you. It's bananas though. Like, I just don't understand why, if it tells you the adjustment protocols that you can set your flows at these, and if common sense takes hold, if you've got a flow meter that only goes up to a maximum of 40 liters a minute, that would be what I set this to. And the crazier part now is that furthest to the left 9, the first digit, I can't actually even select in this meter now. So I think I'm dealing with probably what is a faulty piece of equipment, it would seem like. A faulty camera that can't focus because they want me to buy the new iPhone. And perhaps the Lite version of this software not being able to do enough. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to tell it to just only measure 3 decimal places out for amps and be able to carry that. I don't have control over that. Even if like I do an arithmetic. Oh my god, this thing is such a piece of garbage. So I can do operations with just one channel. And, oh, there she is. And so I can essentially, I can do nothing. I can't truncate the amount of sig figs. Now, technically, maybe I could in here where I have my numbers, but it doesn't really. The problem is you don't know if that's limiting your output, because it doesn't seem like it is, because if I were to come, like I was just in there, so if I were to come to here, I have this, actually, I maybe don't. So those could be some things that I'm going to try, but still working through it with me. You guys who do testing a lot more, I hope you have some answers as to how I could get, especially the flow meter, it seems a little more sensitive. Like I said, the pressure transducer I can adjust myself, but the flow meter one, where these amps, these little trays, they're just stupid, small amounts of amps. But they are screwing my conversion factors over because these idiots who made DASYlab don't know all the SI and Imperial and what is the other system? DIN, ISO, whatever. Regardless, literally all the units that you could choose from are not in there, and that is preposterous for how much this software costs, even if it's the Lite version. So please help me with the stray amps. If you've had any experience with oval gear flow meters, plumbing them into systems like this, and in specific the FLOMEC, what is it? I think it's the R14 rate totalizer, because it's 4 to 20 milliamp output. It's stupid. It doesn't adjust, and well, at least to my knowledge now, we'll try that. But yeah, let me know what you think.